Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are doing Chapter 4 of the Dao De Jing, the Infinite Dao. If you've never seen my cowboy hat before, welcome. You'd never expect a cowboy to teach you about Taoism, but here we go. So, the Infinite Dao. Essentially, we've been talking a lot about Taoism and some concepts, but we haven't really addressed what exactly is the Dao yet. So in this video, I'm going to try and give you an explanation as to how some of this works and kind of my interpretation of the Dao. So first of all, the Dao is supposed to be the infinity of the universe. It is everything. We are all Dao. We all have Dao. Dao exists before and after us. We are going to return to Dao one day. I know a lot of Taoist scholars get all upset when you try and compare the Dao to several things, but I'm going to do it, and I don't care if you're a Taoist scholar and you're upset of my interpretation, because the whole point of Taoism is that it's your interpretation. So if you're a Taoist scholar and you're about to blast me, just realize that you're probably a really bad Taoist if you're going to blast me for trying to explain this. There you go. Okay, so I like to think of it kind of in the same way that in Star Wars they talk about the Force being this like binding energy that is emitted by all living things. Everything is the Force, was the Force, will be the Force, at least as far as I understand it from Star Wars. And so I kind of think of it as that. I think of it as not just our energy, but our spirit, our mind, our bodies, everything we consume, everything we interact with. It is the universe. And so if you just think of it as kind of everything, it kind of helps you understand it. If you're going to be really specific on Chinese translations, Dao translates to something like the way or the road, if you're getting really literal. So you can think of it as your path or the journey or fate. Cultures around the world describe the same kind of thing in different ways, and I don't think that's blasphemous to say. I'm not a religious Dao person anyway. I'm a philosophical Taoist, so if you're a religious one, bite me. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Some of these things you would not think are highly debated in the Taoist community, and yet some of these things are hotly contested, and really everyone has their own interpretation and everyone wants to be right. And you would think a community of people based on the principles of Taoism would be a little bit more open-minded and less likely to hate, but shocking, humans are going to be humans. So I'm going to read it and then we're going to get into it. Chapter 4, the Infinite Dao. The Dao is like a bowl that can never be emptied. Truly, it is inexhaustible, the font of creation. It blunts the sharp, it resolves the tangled, softens the dazzling, settles the dust clouds. Truly, it is unfathomable, and yet we know it is there. I do not know what gave birth to the Tao, but surely it precedes the sage emperors. The sage emperors, like even at the time of writing this, the sage emperors were like this ancient mythical idea of these like 5 incredible emperors who ruled ancient China and were just amazing. There's also the idea of the 3 sovereigns. There were like 3 gods and 5 emperors. And so it's just saying like the Tao obviously the Tao came even before that. And so it's saying like even before, that'd be like me saying like the Tao is older than ancient Egypt. I'm saying it's like crazy old. So that's just the context for what it says there. So the Tao is like a bowl that's never emptied. It blunts the sharp, resolves the tangled, softens the dazzling. You can think of it kind of in the same way that we think of time, eroding mountains and changing the world and being this eternal thing that just exists, that we can't, we know it's there, but we just can't really grasp it or hold it or manipulate it. You know, it just is. It is the essence of the universe. There is no changing it. There is no messing with it. It is this thing that governs our lives, and we have to learn to live with it. We have to learn to adapt with it. I think it's important to understand that in Taoist, in at least the Tao Te Ching, Tao isn't necessarily just an inherently good thing. Tao just is. It's not bad. It's not good. You can learn to embrace aspects of it, and that might work out for you, but there is bad in all of this. Life is full of suffering and difficulty, and that is Tao just as much as all of the beauty is. It's not trying to give you some emotional sentiment of like the light side of the force and the dark side of the force. It just is. It just is, and you can choose how you interact with it, and you can choose how you respond to what it gives you, because you can't change it. You can't force things. You can make things more likely to happen, but the Tao surrounds us all. It encompasses everything we do. And so that's the concept that I think you want to try and get around, is that Tao is not bad, it's not good, it just is. It's just a factor. It's impossible to empty, and it blunts the sharp, settles the dust clouds. It is, I sometimes think of like ancient Greece when they talk about the fates. So there are these three sisters who are fates, and they can cut the thread of fate that basically decides like when you're gonna die and like how it all happens and everything. And in Greek mythology, it says that the fates are even above the gods. They decide the fates of the gods, and the fate of Zeus and all of these characters and gods and deities. And you can think of it kind of in that term if you want. It's supposed to encompass a lot more than that. I'm just trying to give you a few examples of kind of things, because again, like it says at the very beginning, and I'm going to be saying this a billion times throughout this thing, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The thing we're talking about can't be settled I can't put it into words. It is only a feeling, it is an emotion, it is an interaction you have. It'd be like me trying to explain like the love I have for my parents or something. Like, I can give you a good estimation, but you're still gonna have absolutely no idea what that relationship is like, no matter how much I talk about it. There is no ability for me to explain it in words that you're gonna go, oh, I totally understand how Tao feels and how I'm supposed to, no, like, it ain't happening. I can do my best, and I can give you the tools to guide you there. And to be honest, like, I'm always adapting my ideas of Tao, but I have a much better idea of my relationship with it and how it all works than I did, say, 2 or 3 years ago when I first started learning this stuff. So it is a process, it develops, but as it says, the infinite Tao, it is forever encompassing our world. We are merely tourists or travelers going through it all. So that's basically it. That's the infinite Tao. That is how the process works. I hope this is making sense. Please feel free to ask me questions or just find inspiration in the comments down below. If you like the video, feel free to follow me on Patreon or all the other places that you may come to find me on. And thank you for watching. And as always, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow.